I've had a crush on my roommate since the day we met. Jason was everything I wasn't. Football player, loud, confident, the kind of guy who slapped backs and called everyone bro. He went through girls like it was a sport. I figured he'd never even look at me that way. We lived together for 2 semesters without anything happening. Just jokes, gym sessions, beers on the couch. I tried not to overthink the way he sometimes touched my shoulder a little too long, or the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't watching. One night, after finals, we both got drunk. Like really drunk. The apartment was a mess of empty bottles and pizza boxes. He was shirtless, sprawled across the couch, and I was trying not to stare. "You ever wonder," he said suddenly, "what it's like with a guy?" I blinked. "What?" He didn't look at me. "I mean, people say it's different. Slower. More intense. I dunno." Pause. Then, "You ever tried?" I nodded. Quietly. He sat up. "Would you? I mean, if someone wanted to know what it's like, would you show them?" My heart was slamming against my ribs. "I guess it depends," I said. "Who's asking?" He didn't answer. He just leaned forward and kissed me. Hesitant at first, then deeper. His hands on my waist. His breath shaky. He kept whispering, "I don't know what I'm doing." And I kept telling him, "It's okay." It didn't feel wrong. Not once. It felt like something that had been waiting to happen since the day we moved in together. That night, we didn't rush. He let me take the lead. Let himself feel things he'd buried for years. He stayed in my bed until morning. His arm wrapped around my chest, breathing slow and warm. The next day, I expected distance. Awkwardness. Maybe even denial. Instead, he made us pancakes. When I asked him if he regretted it, he said, "I don't know what this makes me, but I know it felt real." We never labeled it. He still dated girls. But sometimes, when the door was closed and no one was around, he'd pull me close, whisper my name, hold me like he meant it. He said he was straight, until he wasn't. He had a girlfriend, until he kissed me. We met through his girlfriend. Her name was Ashley. Mine was Evan. She was in my psychology class, and one night she invited me to hang out with her and her boyfriend, Jake. Jake was the typical straight guy, the kind of dude you'd see in a hoodie, backwards cap, and basketball shorts even in the dead of winter. He wasn't overly friendly at first. Just polite. A nod. A handshake. A yo. But for some reason, we clicked. Ashley got busy with exams and slowly stopped inviting me out. But Jake didn't. He'd text me directly. We started gaming together, grabbing food after class. It didn't take long before we were hanging out almost daily. Nothing felt flirty. Not at first. Just chill. Bro stuff. Until it started to feel like something else. He'd say things like, "Why don't girls talk to me the way you do?" Or, "You get me, man." And I'd just laugh it off. I didn't let myself think about the way his eyes lingered, or how he once touched my thigh while laughing and didn't move his hand. One night, we were watching a movie at his place. Ashley was out of town. We were both a little high. The kind of high where the world is soft and quiet and warm. The room was dim. He leaned against me a little. I didn't move away. Then he said, "You ever think about what it'd be like with a guy?" My chest tightened. I asked, "You mean like, in general?" He looked at me. "No. I mean with you." I didn't answer. Couldn't. My mouth was dry, my brain buzzing louder than the movie. And then he kissed me. It wasn't nervous. It wasn't unsure. It was full. Warm. Hungry. We didn't stop. We didn't talk. Clothes came off in silence, broken only by breath and hands and heat. It wasn't rushed or wild. It was slow, deliberate, like he'd thought about it longer than he wanted to admit. He held my face afterward like I was something fragile. He whispered, "Don't tell anyone." I said, "I won't." The next morning he was quiet. He didn't ghost me. He didn't freak out. But he didn't talk about it either. Weeks passed. We saw each other less. Ashley eventually broke up with him. Not because of me, just because of them. And one night, months later, he texted me, "I still think about it. About you. Do you?" I told him the truth. I still do. Foxhole. A gay love story from the army. You learn a lot about a man when you're stuck with him in a desert for 6 months. His name was Rivera. I met him during basic. He was the quiet type, sharp jaw, olive skin, tattoos down both arms. We barely spoke at first. He was all discipline and routine. I was the joker, the guy who made everyone laugh during Hell Week. But somehow we got paired for everything, drills, duties, even guard rotation. I started calling us the odd couple. He didn't laugh, but he smirked, and that was something. In our unit, showing weakness was like bleeding in shark water. No one talked about feelings. No one ever came out. You could be dying inside, but if you laced your boots tight, no one asked questions. But nights were long out there, cold, quiet, and sometimes you talked because silence felt heavier than words. One night, while we were stuck in a foxhole during a training op, I said, "You ever miss home?" He nodded. "My abuela's rice and beans. And hot showers." I smiled. "I miss touch." He looked at me, still, expression unreadable. Not sex, just the feeling of someone's hand. Skin. For a second, I thought I'd gone too far. Then he said, "Yeah, I get that." That night, when the wind cut through my uniform and I couldn't stop shivering, he shifted closer. "You'll freeze to death," he said. "Come here." He pulled the blanket around both of us. We didn't talk, but his arm pressed against mine. Our legs brushed, and eventually, I felt his fingers slip between mine. Just for a second. Just long enough. After that, everything changed. We didn't talk about it. But when we were alone, we sat closer. When we trained, we moved like two parts of the same machine. We'd find excuses to stay behind, to clean weapons longer, to take night shifts. Then came the night that changed everything. A sandstorm hit. We were grounded in the base for 18 hours. No power. Just the hum of the generator and the flicker of emergency lights. We were in a supply room, alone, waiting it out. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You ever wonder," he said, "if this is more than just loneliness?" I looked up. "What do you mean?" "I mean us." I stepped closer. The room felt warmer, smaller. "I think about it all the time," I said. And then he kissed me. Rough at first, like he wasn't sure. Then softer, slower, his hands trembling a little. My heart pounding like gunfire. We didn't go all the way. Not then. But we lay there on a sleeping mat, tangled in each other, finally able to breathe. He whispered, "If anyone finds out." "They won't," I said. "Not here." After deployment, we were sent to different bases. We still texted, called when we could. But it faded like everything in the military does. Fast, quiet, without closure. Years later, I saw him in a coffee shop. Civilian clothes. Same jawline. Same eyes. We didn't say much. Just hugged like we were still in that foxhole. As I walked away, he called out, "I still think about that storm." I turned back. Smiled. "Me too."